This module will focus on the risk of open management ports on virtual machines and how JIT VM access in Microsoft Defender for Cloud mitigates these threats. By the end of this training, you'll have an understanding of the risks associated with open management ports on virtual machines. You'll learn how to implement JIT VM access using Microsoft Defender for Cloud. You'll explore how just-in-time VM access reduces attack surfaces in Azure and AWS environments, and you'll gain skills to configure and manage temporary and controlled access to VMs for authorized users. Let's get into this. I love it when I run into a systems administrator on some vacation spot and we get into talking and they're so proud and telling me about the administrative levels that they have and the access throughout their entire infrastructure. My response typically is, oh, that's amazing. You mean you have access and you could do that right now? Your account, you have all this high-level access and to all of your resources? And then I give them my defense in depth conversation talk about reduced attack surface vectors and the use of just-in-time, or JIT, and just-enough, JEA, administration. Just-in-time, or JIT VM access, is a feature of Microsoft Defender for Cloud that helps reduce the attack surfaces of your virtual machines by limiting the time that managed ports are open. This minimizes the risk of unauthorized access and potential attacks to your VMs. The risk of open management ports, such as Remote Desktop Protocol or the RDP protocol and Secure Shell or SSH, are common targets for attackers. If these ports are left open, they can be exploited to gain unauthorized access to your virtual machines, which can lead to further compromise within your environment. JIT VM access works by blocking inbound traffic on specific management ports until access is explicitly requested and approved. When a user requests access, Defender for Cloud checks their Azure Role-Based Access Control, or RBAC, permissions, and if the request is approved, the necessary network security group, or NSG, and Azure firewall rules are temporarily configured to allow inbound or outbound traffic from the specific IP address for a limited time. JIT VM access can be enabled and managed through the Defender for Cloud portal, Azure portal, PowerShell, or the REST APIs. This flexibility allows administrators to integrate JIT access into their existing workflows and automation processes. JIT VM access is supported for both Azure and AWS environments. In Azure, it manages NSG and firewall rules, while in AWS, it modifies the EC2 security group rules to control inbound traffic on the selected ports. Microsoft recommends enabling JIT VM access on all VMs to reduce the attack surface and protect against unauthorized access. This is especially important for VMs when open management ports are used. You should ensure that only authorized users have the necessary RBAC permissions to even request and approve the JIT access. This helps maintain a secure and controlled environment. By default, JIT VM access is not enabled. Administrators must manually enable it for each VM that requires protection. To request JIT access, users must have the reader or security reader role assigned. These roles allow users to view the JIT status and parameters, but do not grant the ability to configure JIT settings. To configure the JIT settings, users need to have higher level roles such as contributor or owner. When a user requests access to a VM with JIT enabled, the following steps occur. The user submits a request specifying the port, IP address, and duration of access. Defender for Cloud checks the user's RBAC permissions to ensure that they have the necessary access permissions. If approved, Defender for Cloud configures the NSG or Azure firewall rules to allow inbound traffic on the specified ports from the specified IP address for the requested duration. After the time expires, the rules are automatically reverted to their previous state, closing the ports and reducing the attack surface. Just-in-time VM access in Microsoft Defender for Cloud is a powerful feature that helps secure your virtual machines by limiting the exposure of management ports. By following Microsoft's recommendations and ensuring proper RBAC configurations, organizations can effectively reduce the unauthorized access and enhance their overall security posture. JIT is available by managing VMs in AWS, but you will notice that it is a simplified decision tree compared to what's available in Azure. The Unhealthy Resource tab in both Azure Monitor and Microsoft Defender for Cloud provides a snapshot of resources that are not compliant with security recommendations. It lists resources that have outstanding security issues, helping you quickly identify and address vulnerabilities. A typical use case for this Unhealthy Resource tab is in a scenario where you manage a large number of VMs and need to ensure that they are secure. If a VM is flagged as unhealthy due to an open port or an outdated software update, you can take action to remediate the issue, thereby maintaining the security and compliance of your infrastructure. While I'm talking, if you watch the animation on the slide, it'll actually show you the steps on how to configure this, but when deploying JIT, consider that Microsoft Defender for Server Plan 2 must be enabled on the subscription. Reader and security reader roles are needed to view the JIT status and parameters. For AWS VMs, you'll need to connect your AWS account to the Microsoft Defender for Cloud service. And you'll need to ensure that the custom JIT policy names and targeted VM names do not exceed 56 characters. So this is going to bring us to an exercise where we're going to go through and enable the JIT capabilities. So let's go there now. So here we are in the portal. We want to take a look at a virtual machine. I'm going to grab virtual machine number 1 that we've been using throughout these modules. And you'll see that I've got a number of features that I've got configured on this module or on this virtual machine. Under the settings, under configuration, you'll see that I have the capability to manage the just-in-time access. I want to open this in Microsoft Defender for Cloud, and I'm going to be able to now select this virtual machine and configure this capability. So I'm going to select this virtual machine, and by default, we're going to see that port 3389 maximum allowed for up to 3 hours. So port 3389, I can toggle this on or off, allow source IP address, my IP address, or give it a range. And what is the IP range I want to work with? And by default, the 3 hours. I can limit that time frame as well. I'm going to save that. Go back to the virtual machine. And now when you say, under my connect feature, I can now request access because it's now blocked. It's configured for port 3389. If I was trying to do this through the portal, now if I had another RDP tool, it would come up and give me this capability in the tool. So now I can say, what is my all IP addresses, my local IP address of my machine, or other IP addresses. So in this module, we've discussed using the just-in-time access to be able to restrict access to virtual machines by blocking ports for general use. Going back to my analogy that I used at the beginning, it's nice that people have these accesses, but if they're away on vacation, it's an attack surface for you. You want to be able to protect these attack surfaces, and the just-in-time, so something is only going to be available for the time it needs to be done. All other times, you don't need people knocking on those doors, looking for a hunting attack against your resources. So a request has gone in, they have the necessary permissions to make the request, you open it up for a limited period of time, and then the other concept that you get into that we don't cover in any of these modules is the JEA, or just enough administration. You want to make sure that people have only the necessary permissions to be able to do only the necessary tasks that would be done during that period of time that you're working with. So take a look at the just-in-time capabilities. You saw that it was a feature of Microsoft Defender for Cloud that you can now use and monitor in your compliance requirements. I look forward to seeing you in the next module.